Hi my loves, welcome back. I hope you're all having a really good weekend or day whenever you are watching this. As some of you may know from the What I Did Last Week and WoW videos or some of my short form content, I have been playing a healer for the first time and I have really learnt a lot. So for some context, I've been playing WoW since 2019, Classic that is, and then Retail I've been playing since 2020, and in that time I have mostly played a marksmanship hunter, and when I did my account played for 2025, 71% was spent on my hunter or hunters, so yeah, I do love the class a lot. I've always wanted to play a healer, but the level of responsibility just seemed daunting, and knowing that I would want to probably do Mythic Plus was really, it just made me think that this just isn't for me, and it was easy to put it off in that sense. The turning point for me was season 1 of Midnight, and there's something about this season, or maybe there's something within me that just makes me want to now try and give these things a go and not be so worried about them. So that's why I decided to make this video of why I think DPS should play a healer from the experiences I've had so far this season in WoW. So it wouldn't be one of my videos if I didn't have a couple of caveats to start. First of all, I just want to say you may hear some background noise. We are dog sitting this weekend and he is right underneath my feet. And then second of all, this video could also be said the same for tanks, so why I think DPS players should play tanks. But seeing as I haven't actually played a tank at endgame level yet, I didn't really want to speak generally without experiencing it for myself yet. So here are my 5 reasons I think DPS should play a healer or try playing a healer in WoW. First of all, it makes you a better player. Probably an easy and obvious starting point, but there were so many things I was doing as a DPS player that I didn't realise were so detrimental to the group. When you're healing DPS who are not using defensives, it does start to get draining. Seeing people die from damage, avoidable or otherwise, or dots, when they haven't even touched a defensive is crazy, and as a DPS player, I have 100% been one of these people before. Sometimes DPS can get so focused on topping damage meters, which yes, does matter, but if you see your healer struggling, do what you can to help them. Secondly, this is probably tied to my first point a little bit, so it's a bit of a continuation from that point 1. It also just makes you more aware. If you're standing behind a wall or out of range, how do you expect to be healed? My prior is the tank, and then DPS is secondary, so if your health is falling and you're out of my range, that's on you, darling. I was so bad at doing this on my hunter. I learned hunter in classic and I was fearful of the dead zone, if you know you know, so would stand miles away to have as much room as possible between myself and whoever I was playing against. So this is a bad habit that I've pulled into retail from classic that I do still do today, and I'm sure some of my friends who I play with will be able to say yes, you do still do that. I stand so far away sometimes, out of the reach of the healer, and it means that then they have to move, and it just makes their lives ultimately so much harder when they already have so much going on in the group. So thirdly, how much interrupts do genuinely matter. Now we hear people calling out those who don't interrupt, and I mean, I get it. There's some casts like in Skyreach, which is a current rotation in season 1 of Midnight. I think it's one of the mobs does that repel that can blow you off the edge, and if you don't get them, it can wipe the group. But really, if you're a DPS player and your interrupt is not on cooldown, you're messing up. It really is easy as that, and I understand that people overlap, and I understand that it can be difficult, but especially if you're in a group, like a friend group where you can have comms, really everyone should be interrupting most of the cast most of the time. But I really do think if your interrupts or your stuns aren't on some sort of cooldown, then you're basically messing up a little bit. And again, I'm really not perfect here, but now I do make sure I strive to interrupt, like my life literally does depend on it, which it kind of low-key does. Fourth, it truly is more of a challenge than DPS, and there's a lot can be taken from when you're challenging yourself in game. I can't speak for DPS melee here because I've never really played melee at the end game level, but if you're after a challenge, I think we should all try healers. I've climbed the Mythic Plus ladder in Keys, and this has become more apparent for me. A lot rests on your shoulders as a healer, and that's for me where the challenge is and where it lies. DPS, there are 3 of you, and whilst it's not recommended or great if you hit the floor, it's also not GG necessarily. Although I've seen some Giga Chad tanks finish off bosses just by themselves, 9 out of 10 times you do need a healer. The second part of the challenge comes from you just needing to think quickly, manage your mana, manage your cooldowns, manage your health and everyone else's, and be good at communication with the tank and the rest of the group. You get a lot less downtime like you do as DPS, and even challenging endgame content. When I'm doing my DPS, I feel you can actually switch off a little bit at times, but healer doesn't really have that opportunity, or so I found so far. Maybe healers who have been doing this a bit longer, you can have a bit more of downtime, but I feel for myself, I'm kind of on and really locked in the whole time. I'm sorry, I feel like I'm repeating myself a little bit here, but I just really want to hammer home that the challenge is really rewarding, and a clutch heal play is actually 10 times better to me than a clutch DPS play. And fifth and final, this is a bit hard to actually put into words, is that it's just really fun. And there's not really much more I can say apart from that. Of recent times, some of the best fun I've had in WoW has been on my healer. Maybe that's to do with the fact that I'm learning and executing this new skill, but it's really just bringing me so much joy at the moment. And there are my 5 reasons that I think all DPS should play a healer, and I hope it's given you a little push if you needed it to dust off your old ult or maybe level a healer in WoW. It's also the perfect time to do so because we have turbulent time ways going and time walking dungeons, so lots of quick easy queues for you if you go as a healer, which is another little good thing for DPS. We're used to, longer queue waiting times. Healer, it's pretty short. Sometimes I can queue up and then the queue instantly pops. And the best thing of all here is it's only a game. And if you don't like it, you don't have to play it and you can go back to DPS. So don't think about it too hard. I have had the best fun on my healer and it has helped me so much genuinely as a DPS player that I think I just want everyone to at least experience it. And the next stop I have will be a tank. I am currently leveling a warrior tank called Bam Bam. And I will try and do one of these videos in the future if I do decide to do Mythic Plus as a tank, so I can also share what I've learned as a tank and then also the perspective of a DPS and healer as well. Thank you so much for watching, my friends. It really does mean the world to me. I hope you did take something away from this video, and if you did decide to resurrect your healer or make a new one, please let me know in the comments below. If you want to follow me on my socials, I post mainly here and on TikTok and Instagram, and the handle is @Heyhangaming. I hope you all have a fantastic day, and I'll see you next Sunday for another WoW video.